aside from the temperature problems there's a snowstorm coming through for tomorrow, likely another one next week.
But that's only 2 snowstorms when the area can really use 4 by Christmas time.
50% behind in their snowmaking. Bad news
so
there.
Warm.
Well, tonight, however, we are tracking our own winter weather as we're turning to your Pinpoint Weather 12 forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Tony Petracca is in the Weather Center, but Tony, you said this is not a snowstorm.
Correct. So probably in the sense we don't need to shovel or plow, but we're thinking still some coatings of snow. And sometimes, Brian and Kim, that's all it takes to make things a little slippery. So with that in mind, just use a little caution traveling later in the evening and during the overnight. So far, there hasn't been much in the way of precipitation. Now, we're looking at Newport where we've had some flurries and some sprinkles. So clearly, the evening commute is manageable. There's nothing significant precipitation-wise right now. Let's take a look outside, and we'll take a look at Easton's Beach down in Newport with actually pretty good visibility. And bottom line, as far as the potential for any accumulating snow, and again, this would not be a lot, would be later in the evening and towards midnight. So we're sort of in a little bit of a lull right now. And we'll take a look at New Bedford, cloudy skies and dry. Temperatures above freezing. So if there were to be any snow showers the next couple of hours, it would just melt on the pavement. So here's the breakdown on our threat tracker. Of course, we have it elevated for tonight. Not bad, because we're anticipating some kind of major storm, but we just want to give you a heads up because it doesn't take much to cause a few slick spots, especially in the northern part of the state. So as the precipitation starts this evening, the pavement temperature is above freezing and these snowflakes just melt. So it's got a better chance of sticking on your car, your patio deck, but on the pavement it melts. But then once the temperatures fall below freezing, anything untreated may get a little slippery. So while the road may not be snow covered, it may be slick later in the evening and during the overnight. And again, just minor accumulations. We'll take a look at that in just a second. And then we're back on track for Thursday and Friday. In fact, sunshine is back when you wake up tomorrow morning. So the system is really in 2 pieces. Piece number 1, you see a lot of precipitation offshore and just grazing the coastline. This is mostly sprinkles and some flurries. Elsewhere, it's just cloudy and dry. The other piece of this kind of weather puzzle is back in here through upstate New York and Pennsylvania. This little area will arrive later in the evening and overnight, and this will be our accumulating snow, which in itself won't be much. And notice in between both systems, there's kind of a lull where there's not much going on right now, but this will all tend to fill in later in the evening and during the overnight hours. Behind it, clear skies, and that sets up for tomorrow morning. So while temperatures are chilly, it's marginal, but as temperatures drop a little bit overnight tonight, this should be in the form of mainly a light snow. So let's take this into the future, starting off this evening, and you see the storm system is actually offshore, and it's too far offshore to have a real big impact. But with that said, as we put this into motion, and you see how this tracks offshore, what's attached to it, we probably haven't seen this little symbol on a weather map before. It's called a trough, so it's sort of an extension of the area of low pressure. So in other words, it's along this little boundary where some of the snow can pick up a little bit, and this is what will come through later in the evening and during the overnight, give us that little sugar coating of slippery snow. And then the whole thing is pulling away overnight, so by tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon, skies are clearing out. But we want to get in real close here, and we'll step you through the forecast hour by hour, starting off at 7 o'clock in the evening with some flurries. But then notice how this little blue area starts to expand a little bit. 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, some light snow, temperatures near freezing. This is where we get that little slippery coating, but probably not enough to shovel and plow. And then overnight towards daybreak, it clears out. So 7 o'clock in the morning, we're waking up to sunshine. And it's a quiet day. Sunny skies tomorrow afternoon. Chilly in the upper 30s to low 40s. A few extra clouds tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, but otherwise dry. At 11 o'clock in the evening, upper 20s to low 30s. Forecast hasn't really changed. A little to nothing along the shoreline and a coating to an inch elsewhere. And this more than likely would be on non-paved surfaces. For the most part, the roads will just end up being probably just wet rather than snow covered, but they may get a little slippery in the northern part of the state. So significant in terms of travel, but again, not enough to shovel and plow. So you're stepping out this evening and running some errands and things like that, some flurries early in the evening, then for several hours, some steady or light snow later in the evening. Temperatures in the lower 30s, and then we're back to sunshine both tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon. Sunglasses and warm coats. All right, 7-day forecast shows decent weather on Thursday. Friday's really not a bad day, just extra clouds. Windy, warm. Yeah, that's 62 degrees on Saturday. Only in New England, right? A couple of showers, and then clearing out dry and cool on Sunday with sunshine and a temperature at 48. So while it's not a snowstorm, I just want you to use caution later in the evening and during the overnight. If the road is wet, more than likely it's slippery.
And this is snow that's not going to stick around on the ground for very long.
No, just enough to maybe spell your name on your windshield of your car, and then there you go.
Perfect. We love that. All right, Tony, thanks. Brian?